Hello, everyone, and welcome to Movie Goodness, where we examine life through cinema here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is your summer movie preview show. This show we are dedicating to the blockbuster season of the year. This is normally you get your big 200 300 million dollar budgeted movies to come out in summer. But as of late, over the last 10 years or so, it's really been spread around. For instance, this year, the two biggest movies aren't coming out in summer. They're actually coming out in December on the same day, nonetheless. That'll be Avengers Doomsday and Doom Part 3. And those movies come out in December, and I think those would probably be the biggest movies of the year, or two of the biggest movies of the year, or they will probably consume each other in the theater because they're coming out on the exact same date. I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll figure it out when we get to it. But what will arrive even sooner than that is summer. The summer is always stacked with the big science fiction, adventure, action films of the year. This is where you get those popcorn movies in the summertime. And it all started in 1975 with Jaws. That's where it all began. The summer movie season really just took off from there. You always got something that will just take the world by storm. Now, to be fair, the last few years, summers have been kind of and I attribute some of that to COVID, to the labor strikes and all this here, the world events. It's really slowed up the summer movie season. But this summer feels a little different. It feels like we're kind of getting back to it. We kind of got some juggernauts. We have a few. And so in this episode of Movie Goodness, to celebrate the summer movie season as it right around the corner, we're going to count down the Movie Goodness KB Radio podcast top 10 movies that we are anticipating in 2026 for this summer season. But before we jump into our top 10, I do have some honorable mentions. There are actually 15 top movies that I'm looking forward to this year, but I wouldn't put these in a list. I wouldn't put these in a official list, these 5 films that are coming out this summer. Let's begin on May the 15th. There's a horror film that I'm curious about, and it is Obsession. Obsession, the trailers were the trailers, but it just looks like a real good movie. This guy, he makes a wish. He's longing for this relationship with a woman. She's not really into him like that, but he makes a wish with this willow tree branch thing, and she becomes obsessed with him to the point where she kills people and stuff like that. It looks so disturbing yet exciting at the same time, and I am anticipating this, but it just couldn't quite crack the list. Another film that almost made the list comes out a week after Obsession, and it is I Love Boosters. And this comes to us from Boots Riley, who gave us Sorry for Bothering You and that Prime Video miniseries, I Am Virgo, I think the name of it was. But this film stars Keke Palmer, and it along with her is like a star-studded cast. Keke Palmer, Naomi Ackie, Taylor Page, and Demi Moore. And so I'm curious to see how this go. And Boots Riley has a very unique style. It's a niche style. If you're not into his type of movies, you're probably not gonna like it. But I'm into weird and strange, yet a good story. And he does a really good job with that. these obscure movies and TV shows. So uh, let's see how this plays out on May the 22nd. I Love Boosters hits my honorable mention list. Also on the list, we have Evil Dead Burn. I am a self-proclaimed Deadite who is a huge fan of the Evil Dead franchise, no matter what iteration that we get, starting off with the Sam Raimi films and the Fede Alvarez adaptation a few years ago, and most recently Evil Dead Rise, which I thought was phenomenal. Now we get Evil Dead Burn. This comes out on July the 10th, and yeah, we don't have any news about it, but we know that the Book of the Dead is involved, and there's going to be some gore and all of the Evil Dead goodness that we grown accustomed to for the past 40 something years. And so Evil Dead Burns will be released on July the 10th. Also on my honorable mention list, The End of Oak Street, which is written and directed by David Robert Mitchell, who gave us It Follows, that awesome horror film from a few years back. He's directing the great talents of Anne Hathaway and Ian McGregor in this film. And the concept is fairly simple, but disturbing as well. This is a neighborhood or a street or wherever that all of a sudden just vanish, and it's in prehistoric times, and you have dinosaurs and all this other stuff. It looks insane, yet small at the same time. It's weird. J.J. Abrams produced this film. The trailer hooked me instantly, and I was like, "Oh, I'm in. I'm in. Give me that. I want to see this." So I don't have to wait too long. The End of Oak Street will be released on August the 14th. And the final honorable mention on the list is a movie that I don't know what to think of it. I don't know what it's all about. What's the sticking point, so to speak? It's just weird. It looks weird, but it just looks weird. But it's my type of weird. And it is God Is. And this film is, man, there's a lot of ises I just said. It comes out on May the 15th, and it just looks interesting about these two sisters who mother tasked them to go kill their father after he attacked them or whatever. It looks, but it's not like a drama type. It looks more, I don't know. It looks more exploitationist, I guess you could say. And I'm with that. I'm with that. But it's based on a play that I didn't see, but it looks cool. And I will be checking it out. It just barely didn't make the top 10 list. Is God Is will be released on May the 15th. So, with all that being said, let's get to the real list. Let's get to the 10 films that by hook or by crook, I will be planted in the theater to go check these films out. And it took a while for me to get this order correct because I want to see all of them equally. So I really had to kind of examine and study to find out which one I wanted more. What about this film I want to see more than that film? Not to say this one is better than the other. There's movies on this list that I know a lot of people probably be like, I wouldn't be caught dead watching this. But there's a lot of factors that go into these decisions. There's nostalgia. There's my personal preference of either horror or originality or certain actors, certain directors, all that. I had to factor all that in. And so this is the list that I came up with. Of course, You may have your own list, and I implore you to please put your list in the comments. I love to see what you are planning to check out this summer. Uh, Starting off with number 10. Number 10 is a film I didn't know this was a thing until a friend of mine told me about it. And then I don't know, it's weird. But as soon as he told me about this web kind of series that's on YouTube and all that, like a week later, this trailer popped up for the movie based on those web series, and it is Backrooms. Backrooms is set to be released on May the 29th, and the concept for Backrooms is once again fairly simple. The premise of the film: a therapist ventures into an unworldly dimension in search for his missing patient, but uh, the Backrooms concept is a little more cut and dry. It's just these rooms. And you go through these different rooms, and every room you go through, it's the same floor plan, but the room subtly changes every level you go down. And it's creepy. It's a creepy thing. The little that I saw of the Backrooms web uh, little setup there. And I want to see this movie. The movie stars Chigawa Agafor, pretty sure I butchered his name, and he plays the furniture store owner that where these back rooms are set up. And the film is directed by Kane Parsons, who did the web series, so he knows this property. And I think he's 20, 21 years old, young cat, young cat, a YouTuber, but that's another reason why I'm interested to see this, because as of late, these directors coming from YouTube has been fairly successful. I've been enjoying their work on screen, and not to mention Obsession, which I mentioned earlier in my honorable mention list, also a YouTuber who directed that film as well. So the YouTube guys and gals are taking over, man, and good on them, because if you keep putting out good material like this, there's hope for them all. And hey, maybe inspire Kevin Reed to do something down the line. But I am curious to see how this all plays out when Backrooms drops into theaters on May the 29th. Coming in at number 9 is the 6th film in this franchise, and it is the return of the originators of this franchise, the Wayans brothers. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, number 9 is Scary Movie. We are getting Marlon Wayans back, Sean Wayans back. They dug him up. He's back. Anna Faris is back. Everybody, the whole cast, Regina Hall, Kean Ivy Wayans, he helped write the film. Everybody is back. And I'm mildly excited. Mildly excited. The Scary Movie franchise hasn't been right since the second one, and that was the last one that the Wayans were involved with. After that, it was the law of diminishing returns. And I'm curious to see, do these guys still got it? Can they still make fun? And after all these years, there's so many horror films that have come out that they can poke fun at, that they can make fun of. And boy, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see all the shenanigans they will get into when Scary Movie frightens us all on June the 5th. Yeah, man. I can't wait for this, bro. I shouldn't want to see this, but I want to see it. So bad. So bad. Speaking of sequels, in a franchise kind of renewed, it kind of got a new rebirth a couple of years ago. We're getting a sequel, Mortal Kombat 2. Now, there's a lot of people who didn't too much care for that Mortal Kombat film that came out in 2021. Me personally, I loved it. I loved it for what it was. Was it great? No. But I based my opinion on the fact the last Mortal Kombat film we got was Mortal Kombat Annihilation. You can't get any worse than that. As long as it was better than that, I was on board, and it dwarfed that. And so, yeah, did it have problems? Absolutely, it had problems. But everything I've seen coming out of the trailers and the cast talking about this movie looks awesome. Mortal Kombat 2 looks like Mortal Kombat. We're actually going to get some Mortal Kombat style battles, fights in this movie. We get Johnny Cage in this movie, played by the great Carl Urban. The premise of Mortal Kombat 2, the champions of Earthrealm, joined by Johnny Cage, are forced into battle against one another as they attempt to resist the rule of Shao Kahn, whose rise threatens the survival of Earthrealm and its defenders. I can't wait for this, man. A bloody rated R comic book adaptation that looks fairly faithful to the source material. Sign me up. And this one is right around the corner, as Mortal Kombat 2 will be dropping in theaters on May the 8th. And it comes in at number 8 on my list. We move on to number 7. And number 7, I know this is where people are going to get mad. Yeah, you got it that low? Yeah, I got it that low. I mean, I got to be honest with myself, and I got to be honest with all of you on top of that. I love the Toy Story franchise. All of the movies were great. That part 4, it was good, but it wasn't up to the level of 1, 2, and 3, in my humble opinion. But it was still good. We're getting Toy Story 5 coming to us from Disney and Pixar on June the 19th. To keep it 100% honest with you, why it's a little low on my list is because Lightyear kind of zapped, no pun intended, some of the joy out of the Toy Story franchise. That movie was so bad. I watched it one time, and that was in the theater when it came out, and I ain't even bothered to watch it again. And I think I fell asleep on it because I don't remember half of that movie. It was that bad. And honestly, what more can we squeeze out of this Toy Story juice here, this fruit here? I mean, we didn't pull Woody, man. I mean, he's rotting away right about now. We've done so many stories here, but I have confidence in Pixar that they're going to give us a really good story. Let's start off with the premise. After Woody left Bonnie to help abandoned toys find owners, Jessie becomes the leader of Bonnie's room, with Buzz Lightyear as her second in command. However, now 8-year-old Bonnie has become enamored with her new favorite plaything, a frog-like tablet named Lilypad. Yeah, technology has crept into Toy Story. It was just a matter of time. You know, all parents know this. That's why Toys R Us went out of business. That's why all of these other toy stores, when you go to Walmart and the toy section that used to be about 5 or 6 owls is now relegated to 2 because nobody wants toys. The kids don't want toys. They want iPads, iPhones, and all that other good stuff. It's over. The playing with action figures and all that stuff, that's over. You know, kids have upgraded. Unfortunately, our pockets haven't. but good parents, we make a way, don't we? But this is probably the only direction you could have went with Toy Story 5, and hopefully this will be it, because after this I don't know where else they can go with it. But as long as this is here, I'm down for it. And who am I kidding? In a few years, and they come out with Toy Story 6, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna be out, go to the theater, 50-something-year-old Kevin going to see Toy Story 6. So before that comes around, though, Toy Story 5 will be released on June the 19th, and it comes in at number 7 on my list. Coming in at number 6, I mentioned earlier about Jaws kicking us off for the as the first summer blockbuster of all time. And the director of that film, the great Steven Spielberg, he's at it again this summer, still giving us summer blockbusters. And this one looks so Steven Spielberg, old school Steven Spielberg. How could you not be anticipating Disclosure Day? Disclosure Day will be released on June the 12th, and I have no idea what this movie is about. I know that there's possibly aliens involved. There's some type of science fiction element involved. Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connell, Colin Firth, Carmen Domingo are a part of this cast. There's a lot of rumors or conspiracy theories or whatever that feel that this is possibly a secret sequel to Third Encounters or Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I don't know. I don't know what this is, but we do know that there are UFOs involved in this. And that's it. That's all we know about this movie. And that's all I need to know. All you had to do is tell me Spielberg, aliens. You got me. I mean, he hasn't struck out with that yet. E.T., Close Encounters, he hadn't struck out with that. Well, let me take that back. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, that had aliens in it. That was his one strike. That was but that don't count. That was an Indiana Jones movie. But anyways, I'm on board with it. Disclosure Day drops in theaters on June the 12th. Coming in at number 5, hey man, it's Star Wars. It's Star Wars. Automatically that's going to be on the list. And it's The Mandalorian, a show that I absolutely love. Didn't too much care for the last season, even though it was alright. It was alright, but it wasn't as good as that first season. That first season of The Mandalorian was chef's kiss. But we are getting the theatrical treatment for The Mandalorian and Grogu. This will hit theaters on May the 22nd. Jon Favreau is directing this film. Pedro Pascal is returning as Din Djarin, or the Mandalorian. And Sigourney Weaver has joined the cast. It's cool to see Sigourney Weaver in a Star Wars film. And it didn't dawn on me till I watched the trailer and saw her in it. Like, man, Sigourney Weaver's in a Star Wars film. I mean, she's been in Aliens. And it never, Ghostbusters, but it never dawned on me she's never been a part of Star Wars. And so this is a monumental kind of a moment here. But the film, or in the film, I should say, which is set following the fall of the Galactic Empire, Din Djarin and his apprentice Grogu are enlisted by the New Republic to rescue Rhoda the Hutt in exchange for information on a target. Star Wars needs a win, desperately. They need a win like it's nobody's business. Just like Marvel. Marvel has been striking out theatrically for ever since Endgame. Same thing with Star Wars. Star Wars has been striking out, I don't know, since The Last Jedi. That was it. Now, Rogue One was probably the best thing they had come out since Disney took over Star Wars. Outside of that, there is really nothing theatrically that has been good. Now, you know, The Force Awakens, that trilogy was fine. Force Awakens was good. It was decent, but it was basically a reboot or a remake of A New Hope. And nothing really original. And my problem with Star Wars lately, we're still in this same time frame where everything is set in between Jedi and the old new trilogy or whatever. Nothing is set past that. We're still in this Skywalker saga era, And it is not helping, man. We need to tell new and original stories. Now, granted, The Mandalorian is new and original, at least it was, but not anymore. You know, we've been getting this for some years now. And so it's time to move on. It's time to do some new and original stuff. But I am curious to see, will this translate over to the theater in a theatrical way, or will it look like a TV show on the big screen? Now, Jon Favreau, I mean, the man knows how to make movies. He made the first Iron Man, the first two Iron Men, and so he knows how to direct theatrical films. So let's not be fooled here. But I mean, as far as this material, let's see if it translates over. I'm curious. I am excited. It is Star Wars after all. The Mandalorian and Grogu will soar into theaters on May the 22nd. Now we move on to our number 4 film of the summer, most anticipated from me. I want to put major emphasis on this. For me, especially with this one, Masters of the Universe. I Look, I am a child of the 80s, people. I grew up on He-Man and Masters of the Universe. That was my bag. I had the action figures, watched the cartoon, watched every version of the cartoons, even the Netflix one that came out a couple of years ago that Kevin Smith wrote. I watched it all. I'm a huge He-Man fan. And I've been wondering, begging, hoping, wishing, and praying for years that we got a live action adaptation that's faithful to the source material. The 80s version live action film with Dolph Lundgren as He-Man, not the greatest, but it was the 80s. What did you expect? But in this version, in this new updated version, the film follows Prince Adam's return to his home planet of Eternia to save it and the rest of the universe from the evil forces of Skeletor. This trailer for this film looks like a nostalgia trip that, my God, man, I can't begin to express to you my excitement for that trailer. Read all the comments online about it. I know a lot of people didn't like the trailer. They thought it was campy, stupid, and silly, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, it's He-Man. That's what it is. It's supposed to be that. So I don't understand the hate that the movie is getting, even though nobody has seen one scene yet. But everything is there for me. I mean, you got He-Man, you got the sword, you got the I have the power, you have Battle Cat, you have Man of Arms, you have Skeletor. I mean, everything is there from the. I'm so ready for this movie. I am so ready. I'm sweating now. I'm sweating talking about it. I can't wait. Masters of the Universe will drop into theaters on June the 5th. And boy, my wife was excited for this because I guess she knows what I like. I don't know if she was faking or not, but either way, we're going to be there on June the 5th. Ironically, 2 days after our wedding anniversary. So I guess that's our anniversary present. Uh, we're going to celebrate it by going to see Masters of the Universe. And so we move on to our third most anticipated film of the summer season of 2026, and it is none other than the second film in the DCU, Supergirl. Now, Supergirl, to be honest, I'm not overly excited. I'm not number 3 excited for the movie. But I know you asking, well, why you got it at number 3, dummy? Well, the reason I have it at number 3, my curiosity is at a number 1 when it comes to this movie. I don't know what to make of this film. I read the Woman of Tomorrow comic or the graphic novel, and I thought that was a phenomenal novel, comic series. It was so good. And this is kind of loosely based on it. well, not loosely, but it takes liberties, a lot of liberties, which is fine. I know you're gonna do that in film. When you transfer over to different mediums and stuff like that. But with James Gunn and all this here, and even though he's not directing this particular film, Craig Gillespie is directing it, who's a phenomenal director. I'm curious to see, will this fit into the world that James Gunn is trying to make, or are they gonna force feed his universe into this film to kind of take it in a different direction? Because Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, the comic book miniseries, was pretty dark. It goes into dark places in that comic series. But are we going to get the happy-go-lucky bubblegum like Superman movie that we got last year that just Disneyfies, for lack of a better term, this material? I don't know. Well, the premise of the film is Supergirl travels across the galaxy on a murderous quest for revenge. That's the premise of the film. The trailers look good. Billy Alcock, who is playing Kara Zor-El in this film, she looks great. She looks good at it. It was a lot of dollars when she was cast as Supergirl. I thought it was an interesting choice. I feel she could handle it. She did a good job on House of the Dragon. Hey, I think she can handle Supergirl. And from what I've seen so far, it looks like she's going to handle it, at least this version of Supergirl. But I think one of the key factors in this is Lobo, with Jason Momoa being cast as Lobo, a role that he was just born to play. So that's going to be cool. That's a great element in it. Yeah, I'm just excited. My curiosity is super, super high for this movie, and I hope it turns out well, because I want the DCU to succeed. And it needs to really knock this out the park in order for it to succeed. So Supergirl comes in at number 3, and it will fly into theaters on June the 26th. We move over to number 2, and honestly, 2 and 1 on my list were so back and forth, and it is really 1A 1B. I got it as 2, but it's honestly 1A and 1B. And so 1B is Spider-Man Brave New Day. Not Brave, but Brand New Day. This is the 4th film in the MCU Spider-Man with Tom Holland. He's returning as Peter Parker. Zendaya, she's returning. You have John Bernthal coming in to reprise his role as Punisher. Mark Ruffalo is in this film as Banner, the Hulk. And you also have Sadie Sink in this movie now, from Stranger Things. A lot of rumors state that she is Jean Grey. And now it hasn't officially been announced, at least at the time of this recording, but she's Jean Grey. But it's weird that we're introducing the X-Men, or the nucleus of the X-Men, in a Sony movie with Spider-Man. Now, in a perfect world, it wouldn't matter, but with rights and all that other good stuff, it's a weird thing. I would think that Marvel would want to save that for their films instead of having it in Spider-Man. But if they work it properly and tell a cohesive story, hey, I'm not mad at it. In this film, Peter Parker, he protects New York City as Spider-Man and investigates a powerful new threat, while his superpowers undergo a surprising and potentially dangerous evolution. If you saw the trailer, it looks like he's mutating. Emphasis on mutate, hence mutants, hence the X-Men. Like I said, it makes sense why Jean Grey would be a part of this, but I would think it would be another mutant, maybe Charles Xavier, Do you know, or something like that? If you're gonna kind of cameo a X-Men in this movie, but hey, like I said, if they're gonna make it work, they'll make it work. But the trailer looks phenomenal. I watched that trailer at least 100 times since it dropped. It looked like a comic book just blew up off of the page. I am super excited. Can't wait for this. I've enjoyed all three of Tom Holland's super Spider-Man movies. Being a part of the MCU, loved him in Avengers and everything like that. So this taking a kind of a darker turn for the character is, hey, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And so Spider-Man Brand New Day will swing into theaters on July the 31st. So that leaves nothing but number one, or 1A. And speaking of Tom Holland, he's in this movie as well. And this comes to us from the great Christopher Nolan. It is a new adaptation of Homer's ancient Greek epic that we all had to read in high school, The Odyssey. The film stars Matt Damon as Odysseus. You have Anne Hathaway, as I mentioned, Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya is also in this film. Charlize Theron, John Bernthal is also a part of this. The cast, I'll be here forever naming the cast, but this looks amazing. A new adaptation of The Odyssey, one of my favorite stories of Greek mythology. I'm a Greek mythology nut, and so this is right up my alley. I love reading The Odyssey in high school. One of the only things I read in high school and actually enjoyed. I think that's the only thing I remember from high school. But this looks great. Christopher Nolan. I mean, the man bats 100. Well, 99, because Tenet, I still don't know where he was going with that. But I'm gonna scratch that off the record. He was trying something different. But this looks so awesome. Could easily be in the best picture conversation come the end of the year. I don't see anything in his wake other than Doom 3. Other than that, I don't see anything that would challenge it in that category. But and the fact that Christopher Nolan is doing something fantastical. He doesn't do fantastical. Everything is grounded. Even when he did the Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy, it was all grounded. He doesn't do fantastical stuff. Now, yeah, he does do science fiction stuff when you think of Inception and Interstellar and all that other stuff, but it was grounded in realism. Whereas this is a film where you're gonna have Cyclops and the dead coming back to life and all this. It's a lot Calypso. It's a lot of fantasy elements are part of this film, but I'm pretty sure that if anybody can handle it, it is none other than Christopher Nolan. The Odyssey will travel into theaters on July the 17th. And that concludes my top 10 summer movies for 2026. Just to recap, coming in at number 10, Backrooms. Number 9, Scary Movie. Number 8, Mortal Kombat 2. At number 7, Toy Story 5. At number 6, Disclosure Day. Number 5, The Mandalorian and Grogu. Number 4, Masters of the Universe. At number 3, Supergirl. At number 2, Spider-Man Brand New Day. And at number 1, The Odyssey. But that's my list. I would love to know, what is your most anticipated film of the summer? Is it one of these 10 films that I listed, or is it one of the honorable mentions that I mentioned, or is it a film that I didn't even mention? It could be an oddball movie that's off the radar. And those sneaky little sleeper good movies, I love those as well. I can't wait for those to sneak up and catch us off guard. But I would love to know your thoughts. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to Movie Goodness here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this top 10 most anticipated summer movies of 2026 list. Want you all to know that I love you, continue to love everyone, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.